All right, I did see somebody's post on the last one saying that they could hear me. And then I stopped it right before that. Um, so I'm hoping that you can hear me and it's clear and it's not ugly anymore because I think I found out what was going on. I had these headphones, which I thought I was listening. Hi, perfect now. Yeah, that was it. I had these stupid headphones here. Don't hit buttons. I love it. These headphones had the microphone on, and apparently you have to disable that separately. So, yay, now that everybody's destroyed by severe weather and it's all over, I can talk about it. So, thanks for your patience. Oh, my goodness. Loud and clear. You sound a bit robotic. Wow. All right. I will go and reiterate kind of what I was saying earlier. Basically, a severe thunderstorm watch is in effect for all of Idaho, where you see all these orange boxes, and here, those are warnings that where things are happening right now. This storm that's down here, I'm going to switch this radar to a local radar, gives more detail. This storm down to the south was really ominous earlier. It's now weakened a bit and curling towards the east. And I'm going to bring down these hazards here so we can see the thunderstorms underneath it. A lot going on with this radar, though. So this storm system here is pulsing to the north and will continue moving to the north and east. It's going to go well to the southeast of Boise, though. That's certainly a good news scenario. Then the storm that's down here is one I'm more concerned with, and they're probably going to issue a severe thunderstorm warning here shortly on this one, just to the northwest of Mount Home. This blue line that's coming out right through there, this one is actually a gust of wind that's coming on through the area. This gust of wind will continue pressing towards the north and east. And let's see what kind of a gust of wind we are dealing with here. That's probably going to be between 20, 30, maybe even as high as 45 miles per hour coming on in from the southwest to the northeast. So that's going to be ripping on through Mount Home here in just a little bit. Let's take a look. I saw this earlier on this right here. Where's that observation? So this is some current observations that's going on across the region. And you can see the wind speeds aren't that really high here. The problem with what we have going on outside is the humidity. The humidity is going through the roof. So the blue number right down there in the 50s, this is like southeastern United States humidity in, I'd say the winter months. I mean, this is pretty high for Idaho, and that's why we're getting a lot of water in a short amount of time. So with this here, precipitation analysis, this shows how much we've received in an hour across the region. So this right here shows that big storm that was around Lucky Peak a little earlier. Check out this scale here. The oranges and the reds there, that's about 1.5 inches of rain in about an hour. So this is a real big concern for flash flooding along 21. And as those storms continue to go on up into the northeast direction, that's a tremendous amount of rainfall in a short amount of time. And we're not really seeing a whole lot from that storm that was down to the south and west. But the problem is these storms are going to go over the same areas again and again. And so we call that training in meteorology, training like a train on the train tracks. One car goes over the same area again and again. Same deal with thunderstorms, going over the same areas again and again. So back to our radar with that in mind, and we can see this thunderstorm moving up towards the north and the east. And there are more thunderstorms back down to the southeast. Check this out down by the Magic Valley, getting pummeled as well. They're going to get into the the mix of severe storms throughout the region. So I'm going to go back to the national radar. And I'm also going to click on warnings. County warning areas. The hazards back up. And so here is really where I wanted to get to from the get-go. That's your severe thunderstorm watch until 9 p.m. Mountain Standard Time. So all that colored orange area right in through there, that's your severe thunderstorm watch. So all these thunderstorms happening in that watch area was issued earlier today. And then inside that watch area, we're getting thunderstorms developing that are pulsing to severe limits real quickly because it's hot outside and the humidity is so high. So these storms fire up in the afternoon heating of the day, which is now, and will continue until the sun starts to set. Back here to the west of that line, not a whole lot going on back here. This right here is looking like we are seeing the storms come up Ada County east, Boise County east, and on towards the east. So, yeah, it's a good idea there, Josh. I'm going to share that to my Facebook page. Let's go ahead and do that. If I can figure out how to do that. Everybody's panicking. Don't hit buttons. Whatever you do, don't hit any buttons. You're going to mess it up. That's classic. And I understand. Copy link address, and then I'll go into Facebook. All right, let's see if that gets any newbies to the mix. Well, I appreciate that, Mr. Josh. That's awesome. That's the name of the game, getting information out. To be honest, I want to do this for a long time, but life has really hampered me lately, and I'm just getting back in the swing of things. So, yeah, thank you for the encouragement. So we have some watches and warnings out there. Right now, the big concern is going to be the flooding in the higher elevations across the region. Wyoming, all that green is flash flood watch that's out for the flash flooding. I was in Yellowstone last week. I can attest that the flooding back there was just amazing. The damage, certainly causing lots of traffic. I would not recommend going to Yellowstone National Park if you don't like traffic. Back here, up here, I'm seeing a little flash in this location. And that alert there is a severe thunderstorm warning. And that's until 5 p.m. for this location. Looks like in Washington County, eastern Washington County, until 5 p.m. So it looks like it was up earlier. But I'm more interested in the flash flooding that's there. Because that's that green box is right there. Or it's an old warning. Or it could be that it's Pacific. No, Mountain Daylight Time. So that thing's going to expire here shortly. But any of these storms that are in the region are going to cause that heavy rainfall in a short amount of time. This one looks pretty scary there. Let me go back to my local radar. And see what we have up here going up to Boise County. This looks like it's in between 21. Yeah, right there. That is nasty. Just northwest of Idaho City. up around Placerville and moving to the northeast. So that's going to have some small hail with it. It's going to cause flash flooding. I've been up here when there's flash flooding over a burned out area, and the whole side of a mountain will come down like oatmeal, just moving liquid oatmeal, just and it's 3 or 4 feet deep, and that covers up pretty much anything that is across the region with mud. Here's a severe thunderstorm warning down here. This is for this cell that seems to be moving out of the warning area, going up just towards Glenn's Ferry along Interstate 84, and that will continue coming on through. Yeah, that's pretty awesome right there. I'm going to see if I can do some things on the fly here streaming, and hopefully good question. Anywhere we should be avoiding completely far as driving goes? Right now, south and east along Interstate 84, good and bad news scenario with these storms. The good news is they're moving pretty fast to the northeast, so they're in and out of here. And the bad news is, though, they're going to dump like ½ inch to 1.25 inches of rain in about 35 minutes time. So ponding of water on roadways, causing hydroplaning on the highways, that's certainly going to be a problem. This is real concerning, this particular storm here, heading right on up to a very popular camping and fishing spot, South Fork of the Boise River, coming out of Anderson Reservoir there. Been through this area a lot. They did get a pretty good burn a few years back, and I know a lot of this area, a lot of runoff potential. So right up through here, South Fork of the Boise River. If you know anybody in that area, you may want to give them a call, or if you can get some cell service to them. But there's going to be some flash flooding up there for sure as this system gets on up. Looks like just south and east of Blacks Creek, going to head right up in towards the South Fork of the Boise River. A lot of these storms are coming up towards the north and heading due northeast and kind of curling to the northeast as they continue across the region. So this looks like it's about a 6-minute-old radar, and we can see that system has moved up into that region right there. And I'm going to try something else that's pretty cool if I can get into it. Control C, and I'm not sure if it lets me do this on the fly, but I'm going to try. And it looks like it's going to. Pretty cool. So what I'm adding here is satellite picture, which shows a good picture of the clouds coming across the region. Yeah, now we're talking. And so now you can see the flow of these clouds and why there was so much concern as they come up from the south and then they curl towards the northeast. And then there's that distinctive, what we call a dry slot line, which is back through, right in through here. This dry slot line right in through there. So this curl you see right in through there, that is the dry slot line, right in through there with this big curl. And so we're seeing the jet stream kind of punch through the area, and that's pushing the storms off towards the east. So I think in this area right in through here, Canyon County, a lot of these areas are going to be okay from, I think, this point on. I really believe, looking at this, that that atmosphere is pretty stable there. And I think it's just eastern Ada County. So a lot of, and even Ada County looks to be pretty good at this point. There are a few clouds trying to get going back down here towards the south and west, but they're continuing kind of to fizzle out as they hit the Owyhees. And then these here, what we talked about down there about Mountain Home, getting up towards Anderson, and then down towards the Magic Valley. And then all the concern over in Wyoming, look at those thunderstorms just blossoming up off the mountains. We call it orographic effect, and that helps increase the rising air and the heat. and increases thunderstorm and the instability. And that line is pretty clear all the way pretty much through here, dropping on down. So there's your firing line for the storms as everything seems to be pressing towards the north and east. So pretty impressive. I'm really enjoying this streaming device. The OBS, it's open source. It does a great job of letting folks do the streaming. And with that, I'm going to bring this back down and check out some of the thunderstorms that we have going on here in the region. So this one looks to be a little bit old. I'm going to refresh it. Make sure I got the right one. That's the one. I want to refresh this one, the radar. And that's about 8 minutes old now, to give us an idea of where some of these storms are. And yeah, that one right there, that's the one. Keep moving the screen and not interacting with it, which is frustrating, but hey, after the audio debacle earlier, it's all good. Expect that big gust of wind come through right about now, Mount Home. You should be feeling some of the wind gusts at the Air Force Base. Matter of fact, let's go and see how big that wind is. But this is just a gnarly storm right there. That is not fun, folks. And it looks like there's a little bit of activity trying to maintain itself just southeast of Boise, heading up. Looks like it's getting into Lucky Peak, out towards Blacks Creek. All right. And then that is nasty. Oh, look at that storm. That's just southeast of Glenn's Ferry. Holy moly, that thing probably should have a severe thunderstorm warning issued on it. So notice this nice curl right in there. Notice that, not curl, just straight line on the back northwest edge of it, and how that storm is being pushed off towards the northeast, sheared off, if you will, from the winds aloft. And then those whites in there with the darker reds, there's your hail shaft. That's going to be some pretty good hail coming across Interstate 84 out there by Glenn's Ferry. Not a lot of folks out there. And as promised, let's go and look at that wind. There's the observations, interact. Let's get rid of this. So yeah, like I said earlier, the wind gusts look to be around 25, 30, maybe 45 miles per hour. Not seeing any reports right now of that big wind gust coming on through. Hey, that's interesting. I wonder if that's... Wow, it is true. Look at that. 98 degrees here, southeast of Mount Home. 88 back to the northwest because of the rain cooled air. That's the wind, the gust front that's going to come through. And a lot of times, this gust front will push the air up into the atmosphere and refire some more thunderstorms. So that's what we got to look out too for maybe a refiring of storms over the same area time and time again. I just noticed, hey, thanks for the $2 donation there, Josh. I didn't realize you can get donations on this. I'll take them. Price of gas, baby. Unbelievable. Let's see how much rain is coming down from that system. Let's go back to that precipitation analysis. Yeah, so that's down here for that storm that was down to the south. Pretty much probably 3/4 of an inch of rain in an hour. Look at that. The orange is an inch and a quarter in some areas in an hour. That's what's heading towards Glenn's Ferry. And then the storm system down by Mountain Home, this is probably an old piece of data, not updated. It's the 1 hour accumulation. I'm going to refresh this and see if we can get some new stuff. is he doing? Oh, Crosby. Oh, I just having a fun time with all these buttons. Don't push any buttons. Unbelievable. Look at Josh Kidd. He's got all these great ideas to make money. Put PayPal links up there. It's cheaper. I haven't. This show is monetized, which is pretty cool because let's face it, you get monetized when people watch a longer video duration on YouTube, and people don't watch weather for what more than we've been programmed for the years, 30 seconds, 2 minutes most, you know. So I appreciate y'all sticking around, sharing, and helping out Weather Boy here. Just like that, with that storm that moved to our southeast, we got very little cool relief from that storm. Temperatures have jumped back up into the 90s again. Unbelievable. 102 down southeast of Mountain Home, 95 at the Mountain Home Air Force Base. And this is how much rain has fallen over an hour of time. Which I do like this part of the streaming video because I can interact with it. It's really cool. Yeah, that's a lot of water. So this is that storm that just crossed the interstate. I mean, literally in like 30 minutes, a third of an inch of rain, and it's still coming down. So that's a tremendous amount of moisture in a short amount of time. That is all moving towards the north and east direction. And back to this here. So that's where the major issues are going on right now. That's a pretty good storm earlier. That was earlier. Refresh that puppy too. Watch First Amendment auditors. They're making serious cash from their viewers. That's pretty awesome. Yeah, I've been fascinated by this whole YouTube and Facebook and streaming and social media and how much money folks are making crazy. There was one YouTuber that was a family. They were just doing superhero shows back out in Canyon County. And their peak, they were making like $20,000 and $30,000 a month, which is pretty insane. But I don't think they're doing that anymore. All right, back to the radar. So this particular storm, I don't think is yeah, that's just nasty. I would hate to be fishing out there along the South Fork of the Boise River right now because that is going to cause a massive rush of water in areas. That is not a fun looking storm system. Looks a little disjointed here on the radar, but it's in a process of what we call splitting the thunderstorm. And one half of it will weaken, the other will take over. But nonetheless, you're in the purples and the whites and the dark reds. That's not fun stuff right there. Absolutely extremely dangerous. And then this one, well, that's got a really unique signature to it. This is another nasty storm going right along Glens Ferry, 84. That's just ugly. That one is ugly. Getting a little curl back there. I'm going to take a look at some wind here. This actually, all these colors you're going to see here is basically wind direction, wind speed. And the green and the red means the colors going towards the radar or away from the radar. And anytime we get swirling winds, we want to pay attention to that. So that storm right here showing a little bit of opposite wind direction way out in advance, which makes sense. But we're looking if we get any reds popping up and hitting this area here by Glens Ferry. Oh, what did you do, Crosby? Then that's when there's trouble. So that's a pretty interesting little storm in there. And so there's the radar site. So the green going towards the radar site, or would that be away from the radar site? Yeah, radar site's just south through there. So yeah, green going towards the radar site, red going away from the radar site. And so you can see some significant wind shifts by the storm here, by the South Fork of the Boise River. So there's certainly some swirling winds going on just from the wind flow around the mountains. Yeah, but anytime you start to see stuff like this here, the green and the red and the darker colors, that's when we start to see rotation, and then you have to worry about funnels and that sort of thing. We don't get a whole lot of that activity here, but that's a tremendous storm. It also tells us there's a lot of energy with that storm, and so that storm is going to, matter of fact, let's go back to the radar. That is, yeah, pretty wild stuff right there. Give it a refresh. It's 522. Here's the latest at 516. And there. Oh my goodness. Look at that. Oh my. Woo. Let me get back interacting with this thing. So as I mentioned, it was a little discombobulated earlier. It looks like the starting to consolidate some. And that could have a little funnel cloud with it, possibly. Now looking at the structure of it, the shape of it, as the winds kind of go that way, the inflow is coming in here, and then the winds aloft going on out towards the northeast. So this where we're looking at is east of Boise. I see a question there from Joyful 61. I think extreme southeast Boise is good. This is a dangerous storm by the South Fork of the Boise River. And this storm system here is going up towards Lucky Peak, Barber Park, going to get into some nasty storms. That's not only not a fun place to be, not a lot of, well, there are a lot of trees, but you don't want to be near a tree when lightning's flying around. But yeah, that's going to go right on up over Lucky Peak in 21. So East Boise is getting some thunderstorm activity right now. Let's see how up to date this radar is on this other site, because sometimes this is a pretty good tool to use. It helps us better to see the street level data there. So yeah, I'm going to take the opacity down a little bit. And let's see if it lets me get in. There you go. So this gives us a better idea of exactly where we're looking. It looks like it's over on East Columbia Road. Just coming over 21 now in the Boise River. There's Barba Park right in there. Looks like the heaviest thunderstorm cell still south of that area. Take that opacity down a little bit. Well, let me get the current. Oh, there it is. Oh, here we are. So I was looking at an earlier image. So that is already through Barber Park. There's Barber Park. Looks like it's already up into the Highland Valley. So certainly that storm moving pretty fast. Let's see if we can see the one down here by Anderson. Oh, here it is. Look at that thing. Oh my goodness. That is not a fun place to be right now. I promise you that. Feel bad if any mountain bikers up there or somebody who's up there doing some rafting. The good news is it's the stretch down here from the dam of Anderson down along the South Fork of the Boise River. That's not too bad. It's when you get around that big hairpin turn, that is going to get really ugly really quick. It should track due north-northeast. It's probably going to bend a little bit towards the east and head on over towards Granite Mountain. It is just still hot and humid out there, though. Woo! Nasty. Let me paint some of those the dew points of the blue. You get dew points in the upper 50s and low to mid 60s. Now we have a heat index, which is ugly. Matter of fact, let's go and see if it comes up. Yeah, so it's rare that we get a heat index here, but it's right around the actual temperature. 36 degrees Celsius, 97 degrees Fahrenheit outside right now. Dew point, 58 degrees. Ooh, that's soupy. That's a little soup. A little soupy for us. So to answer your question, is Boise going to get anything? I think we're out of the loop. I was sharing this earlier. It's very clear to see where the storms are, going up into Montana, northern Idaho, and then curling back towards central Idaho with this system. So right in through here, you can see there's a distinct line that kind of comes right down in through there, and everything's lifting in this direction to the northeast. And I think everything back here is going to stay high and dry for the most part. Can't rule out maybe one or two to pulse up, but generally I think we're good. It's just going to be hot and humid going on through. So all this stuff, I mean, look at that. Going into Montana now, and of course back over in Wyoming. Just getting pounded. Pounded with all kinds of stuff. got 6 people watching. Thank you for sticking with me. Hey, 6 is good. I'll take 6 people. Oh my goodness. So that's it in a nutshell. I thought it was going to be a bigger event than that, to be honest with you. But I think we're high and dry, and I certainly worked out the kinks of what I need to do for future lives. And I appreciate the shares, and I appreciate the donation there. That's awesome. And I appreciate all you just checking on in. Good stuff. Good stuff. And we'll take one last look at the radar here before I go. Looks like that is bending towards the east like we were just talking about. It's about 9 minutes old. Anderson, boy. Hate to be on a boat at Anderson. Get off that Anderson Reservoir ASAP. That is ugly looking storm. Not only dealing with flash flooding, but lightning as well. There's your Anderson Reservoir. And that will continue pressing towards the east and northeast direction. Thanks, Joshy. I appreciate that. All righty. I'm going to get back. Well, I'll monitor it, jump in if it gets really wild and crazy again, but that's the big concern right now. South Fork of the Boise River, up around Anderson. It's all moving to the northeast. Gust of wind coming down 84. It's a little gust of wind down by Mountain Home at this point. And then over in eastern Idaho, looks like we got some more storm activity going on in this area as well. So pretty fun pattern though. I got to say that. Fun in the sense that there's the alert I was looking for. Oh, where you going? Oh well. Thanks for tuning in to the weather show with Ben Crosby. Tell your friends and family to check on in, and I apologize again. So that warning down there until 5:45. So that's got about 15 more minutes to go on. That's way down there though. Looks like there's activity going through Salt Lake. So if you're driving to Salt Lake or on the highway, boy, you could get pelted with some hail. You could get hydroplaned with some water. Crazy stuff. It's Idaho, baby. Idaho weather. Again, thanks for tuning in. I'm going to stop the stream now. This has given me a good base to grow from here.